You live? Did I start? Oh, hey.
Hey everybody, this is Magic one-on-one with Gilliard. How y'all doing today? Hopefully some people will tune in, but we're gonna go ahead and get started. On this week, we're gonna be talking about putting things before your spouse. There's so much different ways you can go with that, but we are talking about sometimes you can put material things before your spouse, just like your job and stuff like that. And we know those type of stuff can bring a lot of confusion to the marriage, and a lot of times people get divorced off of things like that. So the first thing we're going to talk about, we like to be transparent, so we talk about things that we have dealt with. Some of the things we may discuss, we didn't go through, but this is one that we have went through, and that putting things in the ministry before your spouse. Those might not know, but I am a minister of the gospel, and a lot of times previously we went through where she felt like I was doing everything was just church, and I've been kind of neglecting my husbandly duties. My wife's once again trying to look at the thing and everything. So we dealt with that with me kind of doing, but you gotta have a balance, and I had to learn how to balance that, because you feel like, well, I want to do everything I can for God, for the house of God, and for the people of God. But we got to understand that marriage is a ministry too. And like the Bible say, we got to love our wife like Christ loves the church. So we kind of dealt with that for a little while, and then I realized, you know what I mean, that I'm kind of neglecting her and kind of putting that before her. And a lot of times people, this is a discussion that people might don't agree with me, but you cannot put the house, the work of the Lord, no, the work of the house in the, let me see if I seen it, the work of the, oh Lord, in the house of God, you can't put that before your wife. And a lot of times we feel like, well, if we put in that before our wife, then we putting it before God, and you're not, because you're one. And like I say, Christ say, love your wife like he loves the church, and you know that Christ loves us, and he's not going to neglect us. So we got to make sure home is taken care of as well as the house of God. So that's just kind of what we've been facing. Then I'm gonna let her say how she'll feel about how she felt when we were going through that, and then we're gonna talk a little bit more about people putting other things besides ministry. But this just for our Christian folks that's out there that might be facing this now. So how did you felt when we went through all that?
I didn't like it. I'm just be straight up and honest. I did not like it one bit, because I felt neglected. I truly did feel neglected, because at the time, like I already said before, for 12 years of our marriage, I didn't work. So I stayed home with the kids a lot. So it just felt like, okay, I didn't have an outlet. And I felt like him leaving all the time was just like, that's his outlet. Can I get an outlet? I want to be able to leave and just do something too. And he didn't understand that I just kind of needed an outlet, and I needed a companion at the moment, just to be like, okay, once the kids get here, because this is what he used to do. He would come in the house from work, leave out the house, go do something at the church. And it was like, okay. And this was constant. And it wasn't right away that I said something. It was like a wow. It took a long time until I really said something to him about it, about how I felt about it. And so I really waited to tell him, and then I had to let him know that listen, you're doing this too much. You're leaving, you're not staying home with me, you're not doing this or whatever else like that. And I just had to really tell him. And we got in a lot of arguments about that, a lot, because he felt like he wasn't doing that. He felt like he was doing nothing wrong. And I was like, I understand that you are a preacher. And this wasn't even at the time he was preaching either. He was just a deacon in church. So that was the thing. I'm like, let somebody else do it. Like, seriously. I was like, we got other men in the church. Allow them to step up and do it and everything. Because I'm being neglected. Like, come on. I feel like everybody else was like, when their wife was like, hey, you gonna be here? They stayed. And I would ask and plead. But I knew what his heart was also at the same time. I knew that his heart was at the church. But at the moment, I just felt neglected. Because being in the home and dealing with kids, like, you just kind of keep on going in the same cycle and you're not getting a break. It could send you through, like, a mental thing. It could see you through a mental, sorry.
Yeah.
It could see you through like a mental, I don't want to say, what would I?
Conniption.
Yeah, it's something. It just see you through something mentally. Like you just really need that break. And it makes you want to break down and just have a crazy fit, basically. If y'all understand what I'm saying. So I didn't like it. And so when we talked about it, and after a while he finally got it, because mama needed an outlet too. And it wasn't right. And we just talked about it and everything else like that. Communication, like we talked about before, having the communication and letting him know, like, listen, you got to do something. And plenty of times in that time I said, well, you about to be a single person. Plenty of times I said that. And I was like, I'm not, because I can't deal with that. Couldn't deal with that. And it felt like I'm married, but I'm dealing with kids on my own. It wasn't right on my hat. And I didn't feel like it was right for me to have to bear everything on that.
Well, we got a question, but I want to say this before I forget. So, when we talk about issues, we want to kind of give a solution of what you can do if you're facing the same thing. One of the things, like she said, was communicate. And I had to understand that I couldn't put my wife on the back burner and, kind of involve her with things that was going on, and not, leaving her out with stuff with the church or whatever. So I still continue, to help out at the church and stuff like that. But
it was a balance.
I had to balance, with ministry and my spouse. So we as us who's out there that is preachers, even male or female, we still gotta make sure we have a proper balance of our ministry work and then our family work. And that's one of the things we gotta be careful with, because sometimes we can be so heavily bound and then no earthly good. And especially when you got kids and stuff, you don't want your kids to feel like, it's always church. And then when they get to a certain age, they hate the church. So you just got to kind of have a balance. So we balance it out where I still do my ministry work, but yet I still have that time for my spouse. We have a question. And the question is it wrong to tell a loved one that they are wrong in something? No, it's not wrong to tell them. That's part of communication. A lot of times if something bothering me, I'll let her know, what I'm saying? Or if she did something wrong, I'll say you're wrong. But most of the time, y'all know the women don't feel like they're wrong on things. I'm about to get tail in it. But I'm on I'm going to. But a lot of times men, we know the woman gonna feel like they always right. But you gotta express how you feel, because if you hold it in,
I'm gonna need my ladies to chime in on that.
if you hold it in, it only gets worse. It pile on things on top of things.
It does.
So if I'm not communicating with her, if something bothered me or she did something wrong and it hurt me, whatever the case may be, and I don't say nothing, then it's only going to escalate. And that's what a lot of times what happen in marriage. We don't say if you're wrong or something's bothering me or something. So it's not wrong to express how you feel. Oh, Janetta, girl, sit down. So,
and the time is everything. Time is everything on how you do it, because the right thing could be said, but at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Timing is everything. True. You have to know when to say it. At the peak of it, the heat of it, do not, when you're angry and you feel anger, do not go confront your spouse or anyone, be like, hey, you did this, because it's going to be in the wrong spirit and it's not going to be received properly. So timing is everything. Don't wait too long, because then it'll keep on going by and then you'll just forget. And then you'll forget all about it. But timing is everything. Know when to say it. What else? And I want to just go back to with the thing as far as balance and putting other things before your spouse. It's a lot of times I went through this with him, as far as him feeling like, I can't never do nothing. I can't never do nothing. All I do is work. All I do is go to church and come home. And so when he felt like he wanted to go out or whatever else like that, he did certain things or whatever else like that, it was like a whole argument. That's why we used to fuss. And I was like, I don't care if you do it. But the thing is, if you're constantly going and moving and doing something, and then you turn around and it's like a month or so or more, and we haven't spent any time together, then it's a problem. That's where the balance comes in. It doesn't matter. Oh gosh. Sorry, I stopped and then I forgot. It doesn't matter whether or not you go out someplace, but you have to realize, how much time have I spent with my spouse? How much time have I spent with my family versus going out and then doing this or whatever else like that? Because a lot of men feel like women are trying to be their mothers. We're not trying to be our mothers. When we cry out and we speak and say something, and vice versa for the men. If the men speak, if the wife is doing it, and then the man, and then the woman, the man cries out, fix it. Do not wait. Fix it. Try to change it. Because it's a cry for a reason. And you don't want the wrong thing or the wrong person come in and try to doing what you're supposed to be doing. Basically. It's another avenue. Everything could lead to openings, and you don't want those openings up. You don't want the opening, basically. If y'all get what I'm saying.
Jackie, you're definitely right. She was saying that it would be, it's good to, you know what I mean, when you get in ministry or whatever, you kind of discuss, hey, I'm going to be doing this at the church and that at the church or whatever. So definitely it's good to talk about it, what kind of stuff you're going to be doing at the church. And that's all tie in with communication. Another thing, a lot of times we put other stuff, a lot of times we can put material things before our spouses. Yeah. Especially when it comes to like, to say, your car or whatever. Some of us men, we want to wash our car every Saturday. And that can be time that you can be spending with your wife. So sometimes we can put material things over our spouse, and we just got to be careful that that we don't do that. You know what I mean? To put things before our loved ones.
You have to really watch it. It's a tricky thing, because you could kind of go on and not realize or whatever. And be understanding. Like, also be understanding when your spouse want to do something and be like, hey, I need to do this or whatever, or they want their own thing. We're not. It's nothing wrong to do your own thing without your spouse. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that it has to be a balance. It can't constantly be because thank you, Lord. How we went through this because he used to work. He used to go do the barbershop schooling. He used to work at he still works at Food Lion, and he would do the coaching for the rec league. So that right there would take up most of his time. So I was like, okay, you have to seriously balance this. You have to do this because from what time do y'all start the league, the practicing for the kids?
August.
So by August to October, it was little time for us. And so I just was like, okay, and then the days you off, like he used to have, like if he had 2 days back to back off, okay, one of those days you do whatever you want to do. The next day it's us. It's either me and you or me and the kid, us and the kids. So that's how we did that. Working, take your days and kind of like, okay, this is how I'm gonna split my days. It's fine. That's another way that we went through that. I used to have to tell him like, listen, you do this, do that. And then a lot of times, even if we wanted to spend time with each other, a lot of times when the kids were sleeping, I would cook separately from them, and I would do candle lights at the house, and I'll do the candle lights. I'll do some like wine drink, well not wine drink, Welch's. Yeah, we do Welch's, like glass and stuff like that, and it would just be us. So that was another way that we started spending time with each other. That way it didn't feel like it was when he was constantly on the go. So find little things to do within the house. It's not always about going out. So just find little things to do. And then when it was a full moon, like that week or them couple of days of the full moon, we would go out and we would walk under the moon at night at downtown. So it's just like little things just to make sure you get that time in with your spouse. And that's basically it. Finding balance with it. You have to really find balance with putting stuff before your spouse. Because it could easily feel like that to that person.
Yeah, so we got another thing that we want to talk about just to kind of help out the single people. Because I had one person say, because when we send our messages out and stuff on Facebook and Instagram, it's called Marriage 101. You say, well, how about the single people? But most of the time, what we be talking about, it kind of helps the single. But
yeah, I'm sorry, I'm hot.
Yeah,
okay.
this
it's
is
hot.
Just for a few minutes, we're going to talk about. I guess this will help our young ladies. Men, don't tear me up after this on my inbox. But when it comes to single women, a lot of times it feel like it's hard to find that Mr. Right, Mr. Wrong, or just vice versa. Because I had somebody say, how you know when you find Mr. Right or Mr. Wrong. One thing our young ladies, older ladies, that we have to stop doing is giving the men, before they even make any commitment, we already doing things as that's our wife or that's your husband. You already giving them. You are giving them all the stuff before you even get the ring. So one thing, because you have a lot of people don't just feel like, well, shacking up, and well, in other words, shacking up is you staying with somebody and y'all not married. A lot of times we feel, these young, especially our young ladies these days, like we get these dudes, they ain't working.
Y'all get those dudes.
But y'all get this. I didn't say we. Y'all know it. Y'all get these dudes. They ain't working. They're just laying up in the house. You working. You going to work every day, and then you saying you complaining about him, but you allow him to come move in with you, and lay up on the couch from the start. Don't give him none of those benefits until he make a commitment. Because if you giving any man, if you giving me all the benefits, of course I ain't gonna make no commitment because you giving me everything I need right now. And then if I feel like I can go because there's no commitment. So young ladies, stop giving the benefit before they get the ring.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things you definitely don't need to do if you seeking a husband, because if you notice, if you keep going through the same pattern, you with this man, it seems like it gonna work. Then he gone, then you get another man, and then same stuff keep happening, and then there's something that you have to change. Don't give him the benefits. You know what I mean? Before he make any commitment to you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I want to kind of go with that because I have one of my cousins, and she brought this up like a couple of months ago. She asked us the question. She was like, she basically said that she understand, like she agreed not to give the man the benefits without, if they're not putting in the same thing. Okay, I understood that, but then they moved in together. So that does change the dynamics of how that goes. That does. But if the person is in your house, but y'all putting forth the same effort, it's just like, okay, yeah, if y'all staying on the same road, it changes a little bit. So I'm just kind of like, I'm, kind of wavy on that one. It changes the dynamics. But if the person is sitting in your house and ain't doing nothing, stop it. Basically, that's
I understand.
How you didn't understand?
Mm-mm.
Like when a person say if they're separate, they single but they're living separately. Like it's easier for the person not to give that benefit, like not to wash the clothes and stuff. But when they move in together, it's kind of hard to not give them the benefit of washing clothes, dishes, and cooking and stuff. It's different.
Yeah,
it's hard not to do that.
Yeah.
So it does change.
Yeah.
But
you shouldn't let them stay with you anyway, because that's giving benefit before.
It does, but you never know the situation. I mean, not everybody's gonna do that. You understand? But it does change. It does change the situation for the ones who does. We're not. If you do it, you do it. I mean, it is. It is what it is. But basically, that's what I'm saying. It does change the dynamics of that.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, the goal is kind of keep her separate until you get that commitment. Until you get that thing. Because I always tell my cousins, the younger ones, don't give out no wifely benefits and you ain't got no ring and no contract. Let me sign that contract first, which is the license. Let me sign that first. Because that's how, with us, we were too young. We were young, but I did live with you. Yeah. I did live with you for like a year because something happened.
You said something happened. You pregnant? You was a kid?
No, I wasn't pregnant. I already had
okay.
it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I did live with you, and then I moved out and everything. But he did everything.
I did everything.
You did. I didn't cook nothing.
I mean, of course, because you would. I mean,
and even when we were separated, even when we didn't live together, he still did more of the. I don't think I cooked for you while we was dating.
She didn't know how to cook.
He didn't know that because I never did.
She didn't know how to cook, y'all. She learned that after we got married. That's when you started cooking?
Because I ain't had to. You cooked.
Yeah. But anyway, for our single people, you know what I mean? You really don't want to give out that benefit before you got that commitment. And that's for our saved people and our unsaved people. Especially if you say, keep your standard. Don't lower your standard just to get somebody, because whatever standard you lower, that person gonna keep expecting you to be that way. So make sure you keep your standard. And what I mean by that, like no compromising. You know what I mean? Doing things that's ungodly, and to win that person over. Then when you want to do right, then you expect that male or a female to do right, but now you got them by doing wrong. So keep your standard and let them know, hey, I stand for this right here. And if that male or female is willing to I guess commit to your standards, then that's all right. But don't drop down your standard for anybody else. Okay, I've been married for 21 years and I still don't know how to cook. Wow. Wow. That might, I mean, the young lady who did that, I'm not sure. I didn't even get to see the name.
Alfred.
But if you said it,
it was a man.
oh man,
Listen, Lawrence.
a lot of men don't know how to cook. It all depends on what works for y'all. You know what I'm saying? If just like you gotta know these things before you get married though, because just say for instance, you marry a woman who can't cook, then you like to eat, then you gonna be in trouble. So make sure you know these things before you get married. But a lot of men don't know how to cook. Some do.
It's fine. It's okay.
But it'll work even if the wife don't know how to cook, and y'all eat out all the time. That's just what y'all do because she can't cook. So
you ain't gonna say like that.
no, I'm just saying. So, but even male, vice versa. But you know what? They got so much stuff on Google and all that. You can kind of practice and you can get better at cooking.
Yeah.
So just try that sometimes. You know what I mean? Just start practicing, and maybe it's one night just surprise your spouse. Say, hey, we've married 21 years. I've been doing some things inside. Here you go. Let's eat dinner. She might be scared a little bit. You ain't cooked in the 21 years y'all been married, but it's never too late to learn things, man.
Never.
But definitely what works for you works for you.
Any questions, anything, chime in, everybody. Y'all can talk.
Yeah.
Talk to us.
Yeah. And like I said, I ain't seen nobody. We wanted somebody to inbox us. We was trying to figure out how to do the poll so we can figure out how to do it so we can do different polls and stuff for each
be this week?
I can't remember.
I can't remember what the poll was gonna be.
Yeah. And another thing, a question going back to the singles, because I want to make sure I answer the question that I was inboxed. How the question was, what did I say?
I have no idea.
Lord. Talking about going back to the Mr. Right.
Glad Taco.
Going back to the Mr. Right and Mr. Wrong. You can always tell even when you're dating if things gonna go right. You gotta look at the person characteristics and stuff like that to know if that's the right person for you. And always look at those signals and stuff like that. And if you're for the young ladies, if you're dating a man and you see he don't treat his mama good, you already know that's a red flag. Because if he can't do his mama right, then you know he's not going to treat you right.
Always look at that.
And for the males, if you seen like different characteristics about her that you really don't agree with, then that might not be the person for you. So just always look at the signs. How they do other people, how they talk to you when certain things happen. All those things can help you to decide if that's the person for you. And when it comes to, you know what the scripture says, he that finds a wife finds a good thing. And I know at these times you got the women proposing to the men and stuff like that. Some people agree with it. But I just feel like that's the man part. A man's because a lot of times I feel like it's kind of because a woman will commit quicker than a man would. So when a woman is proposing, I think sometimes the men it kind of push the men to be committed, and I guess vice versa though. But that's a real touchy subject.
I don't know.
But definitely so. I'm for me myself. I just feel like we should go by what the word of the Lord say, and I know that everybody is not saved. But I just feel like, you know what I mean, that should be a thing that a man would do as far as proposing to the lady.
Okay, so we'll go back to the other thing.
Yeah. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Our topic.
Yeah. So that one just a little bit to, you know what I mean, help our singles and our single people continue to tune in, because we're gonna say things that will help encourage the singles as well as the married people. So we're gonna kind of go back a little bit to talk more about putting things before your spouse, going back to our topic. But I just wanted to share that because we have some questions in our inbox, and anytime anybody send any questions in, we want to make sure that they get answered.
Yeah. So what else?
So
what else did we do as far as that?
And as far as like with me, what she was talking about, me doing I was working my regular job, then I was in barber school, and I was coaching football. So when I get off from my regular job, I got off about 3 o'clock. I'll go to the house for like 30 minutes. Then I'll go to the barber shop from like 3:30 to maybe to about 3:30, maybe 4 o'clock.
Because you used to take a break with them
in
between
like
the time
30
to
minutes.
do coaching.
Yeah. So I would leave from the barbershop, and then I would go to the football field, do my coaching thing, then I go back to the barbershop for a little while, then I would come home.
10 o'clock
so it'd
night.
be like 10:30, 10 o'clock at night when I've been coming home. So what I did, because I did my own schedule on my regular job. So I just balanced it where I have my 2 days back to back. So I said, okay, this day right here, I won't have no practice. I won't go in the barbershop, and I'll just, spend time. But at first I ain't really, you know what I mean? You working and stuff, you thinking, okay, well, I'm getting this money, this is more money in the house or whatever, and you really ain't conscious that, I ain't spending much time with my family. So I caught grip like, okay, I ain't, you know what I'm saying? I'm really spending time with my family. So sometimes we can feel like, because you feel like you're helping, and then the way you gotta balance it out, because you can feel like you're helping, but you're hurting. And you definitely don't want your spouse to feel neglected, even if you're doing things to help, trying to build your finances, or trying to build your build things, like, just say if you trying to make sure money in the saving account, whatever the case may be, but you got to make sure that it's a balance. And I had to learn that I had to balance it out, because I just feel like, okay, I'm helping the kids when I'm doing football, I'm helping my household by doing the barbershop and working a regular job. So so you just gotta be careful. And I'm glad that she was understanding and kind of patient with that, because you know what I'm saying, you doing something you love. I love cutting hair, and I love dealing in football. I played football all my life, so being able to coach, you know what I mean, that's just like you enjoy it. So you gotta make sure that even if you have your outlet and doing things that you enjoy, you still have to balance it out, because you definitely don't want your spouse to feel neglected. Yeah.
I had something to say, but I done forgot. We've been on that road. We've been on the road. We just getting
Good
back
evening,
from Atlanta.
Yolanda. Yeah.
So my head is a little off today.
Yeah. I ain't see no questions. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But we asking that you please like it, share it, tag somebody that this can reach. And we thank everybody who have shared and tagged our video, because we close to reaching 2,000 people on our first video.
Yes, thank you.
So we thank y'all for that.
You for the support, y'all.
Yeah, we thank y'all.
Awesome.
So we just want to go high, you know what I mean, reaching more people with this, because I just feel like it will very definitely help people. We even had some people to inbox us and say how much how important this is, and how it's helping them in their marriage. And I know sometimes people can be a little hesitant with sending questions in, because you might feel like, I don't know if I can trust you know what I mean, trust us to know what's going on or whatever. But like I said, we keep it anonymous. We're not the type of people to sit right there and talk about your business. I don't think that's gonna help anybody. If anything,
it'll hurt more than it helps.
And definitely we're gonna pray, and we, you know what I mean, we'll bring the question out, like I say, but we will not give your name out. And just by you putting the question out, you may help somebody else as well as yourself. So y'all please don't hesitate to ask your questions and stuff like that, because it definitely will help you, and it will be able to help somebody else. But we ask that y'all continue to stay tuned every Monday, 5 o'clock. We still trying to work on trying to get this Instagram and
subscribe to our page. We on YouTube also.
Yes, and we on YouTube. So subscribe to our page. Is Marriage 101 with the Gilliard. So y'all please subscribe to our page, and we're gonna be putting more and more videos up. But we thank y'all for tuning in. We don't want to just linger the thing, and there's no question.
I just want to, those that did inbox, please believe it is very encouraging. It is not easy to be in front of this camera opening up like this. So the ones who have inboxes and encourage us, or even put it under a post and encourage us, thank you so much. And please believe, when I saw those things, I'm a big crybaby, so tears was coming to my eyes. So thank you. I hope we are helping somebody. Just thank you, and continue to pray for us. I just want to personally say that, because I've been getting the inboxes, but just thank you. I just want to say thank you, and thank you all so much for all the support so far.
Yes,
this is great. Yeah. This is great.
So like I said,
we love y'all.
Like, share, tag somebody, and subscribe to our YouTube page. Subscribe. I talk a little funny, but subscribe to our page. Again, it's Marriage 101 with the Gilliards. We got our Instagram up, got our Facebook page, and we got our YouTube page. So subscribe to one of them. Like I say, if you got any questions, put it in the inbox. You can inbox on Marriage 101. Or inbox. You can inbox us individually. We love y'all, because Christ loved y'all first. We'll see y'all next Monday, 5 o'clock. Peace.